Hey y'all, I'm Mandy, and this is Mandy in the Making, and y'all know what time it is. What's for dinner? We're gonna get into this week's dinners here in just a second, but I'm really excited to share something new with y'all. We have come up with a new segment idea to be included in our What's for Dinners, and it's gonna be called Subby Supper. Subby is short for subscriber, and that means that y'all are gonna get to submit your favorite recipes to us, and we're gonna go through and pick one each week to share on my What's for Dinners. Not only are we gonna be sharing the recipes with y'all, but we're also going to tell a little bit about you, the creator of that recipe or the person who has shared that recipe. It does not have to be your original recipe. It can just be a recipe that you and your family really love. But I wanna share a little bit about you. So whatever you're comfortable with me sharing, once we decide whose recipe we're going to choose, I'm gonna contact you. And if you would like to send me a picture of you and or your family, tell me a little bit about you that you would not mind me sharing on my channel. That way, not only can I give credit where credit is due, but others can learn a little bit about you as well. There's a couple of ways for you to share your recipe with me. You can either direct message me on Instagram. I'm gonna leave my Instagram handle right here. Or you can email me at this email address here. It's mandyinthemaking2018@gmail.com. And y'all, we're not looking for specifically just Southern recipes. Send us anything and everything that y'all love. I would love to try some different types of recipes that maybe we've never really featured here on What's for Dinner. So just send me your favorite recipe, and if we choose it, I'll be in contact with you. We're really excited about this. I hope you are too. And Steven is super excited because he gets to taste test your recipes. All right, so let's get into this week's dinners. Hey y'all, it is Saturday, it's Memorial Day weekend, so we thought we would grill out. It's extremely hot outside and we just thought it's time to grill out. So we're gonna grill out some chicken tenders, some chicken wings, and I'm gonna make a different type of salad to go along with it tonight. But first of all, we need to marinate the chicken tenders, so we're gonna make that marinade now. You're going to mix up the marinade. We're going to put in all the liquids first. This is a 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil, about a tablespoon of sesame oil. We're going to add a 1/4 cup of water, a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, and 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar. I'm also going to do the juice of 1 lemon. Now we're gonna add about 2 tablespoons of honey. I'm just gonna kind of eyeball this one. There's 1, there's 2. Now I'm just gonna whisk all of this together. Now we're gonna start putting in our dry ingredients. This is 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, 2 teaspoons of paprika. We like ours just a little bit of kick to it, so we're adding some red pepper flakes. This is about a 1/4 teaspoon. Also a 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, 2 teaspoons of garlic salt, and finally 2 teaspoons of salt and 2 teaspoons of pepper. It smells really good. All right, it's time to marinate the chicken. Before I add my chicken to the gallon-sized Ziploc bag, I'm just gonna kind of poke holes in it, just so it will absorb some of that marinade into it and make it super juicy. Now we're just gonna pour this in over the chicken. Now I'm just gonna massage the chicken with the marinade, just make sure it gets all over it. And we're gonna pop this in the fridge for a couple of hours. We've got the chicken marinating in the fridge, and we're gonna go ahead and make a salad. It's a cucumber, tomato, onion salad. And this is gonna go in the fridge as well. The longer it sits, the better it tastes. So we wanna go ahead and make this now and let it sit in the fridge for a couple of hours as well. Add a 1/4 cup of red wine vinegar. Actually, it's a little less than a 1/4 cup. And a couple of teaspoons of sugar. And about a teaspoon of Nature Seasons. Just popping the lid on this, and I'm gonna stick it in the fridge for a couple of hours until it's time to eat dinner. We're gonna need some ranch dressing to dip our wings into tonight, so I'm gonna make some now. We could always use it out of the bottle, but we really like to make it ourselves. So I always use the Hidden Valley Ranch. We're gonna use 3 tablespoons of this. We're gonna use a cup of mayonnaise. And I always use Duke's mayonnaise. I know not everyone has access to Duke's mayonnaise, but it is the best, I promise. We also need a cup of milk. Stir some of that powder in there. Pop the lid on this, shake it really well, and stick it in the fridge. It needs to be in the fridge for at least 30 minutes before you serve it. You want to make sure that lid's on good. It's been a couple of hours. We are about to get started on the chicken wings, but I wanted to show you how we're going to prepare these. We're doing a dry rub on them, so we have a lot of different spices, so let me show you that now. We've got a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of pepper, a teaspoon of chili powder, a teaspoon of smoked paprika, a teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of onion powder. We've got a 1/4 teaspoon of cumin, a 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne, and a 1/4 teaspoon of ginger. And then lastly, we have about 3 tablespoons of brown sugar. Now we're just gonna put all of these little chicken wings. These are the drumettes, I guess is how you say that. They're like little miniature chicken legs. We're gonna put these in a bowl together, and we're gonna drizzle some canola oil on top of it and mix it around to make sure they all get kind of coated. And then we will add the spices. Okay, I'm gonna pour about half of this. And I'm gonna toss it around just to make sure everything is starting to get really good and coated. This part I'm not too excited about, but here we go.
All right, the charcoal is ready for me to light it up. We're using the charcoal briquettes with the mesquite. Okay, they've been cooking for about an hour, low and slow, and then they're ready to go.
So the mesquite does not cook as hot as the regular charcoal, and we didn't even think about that, but it's okay. It's gonna be worth it because this looks amazing.
All right, let's just get into this chicken.
Forget the cucumber.
Forget the cucumber. Chicken, you're going down. Look at that. Look at the juiciness of that. It just comes right off the bone. So savory, and you got that kick of spice in there. Oh man, that is so good. That is so good. So tender, so juicy. That smoky flavor of the mesquite, that is incredible. Some onion and tomato and cucumber. Yeah. So that salad with the red wine vinegar, the tart, and the sweet of the sugar just totally breaks up the savory flavor of the chicken. It's perfect. Completely different flavors.
All right, that's enough of you eating. It's time for me to eat. Hey y'all, it is Sunday, and like I've said before, I normally don't cook on Sundays, but we are hosting our church small group here tonight, and we usually have some type of appetizers or finger foods or something like that, so I thought I would make my 7-layer taco dip. I think that's what it's called. It involves no cooking whatsoever. You just assemble the ingredients. It's really easy, so I thought I would show it to you. You need 1 can of refried beans, 1 packet of taco seasoning, 1 small can of diced green chilies, 1 small can of sliced black olives, a cup of salsa. You'll need some lettuce and some tomato chopped up that goes on top, 1 block of cream cheese that is softened, and then a couple of handfuls of cheese to go on the top. You'll also need an 8x8 or 9x9 dish to serve it in. For our bottom layer, we're just gonna mix this refried beans along with the taco seasoning. Now we're gonna mix the cream cheese with the diced green chilies. That's just gonna go straight on top of the refried bean mixture. The next layer is just the salsa. We're gonna sprinkle the cheese, and you can put as little or as much as you like. You're gonna serve it with some tortilla chips, and y'all, this took me like 5 minutes to assemble, and it is so incredibly tasty. Hey y'all, it's Tuesday, and tonight we are gonna have Monterey chicken and some green beans that are slow cooked with some fat back. So right now what I need to do is get the green beans on the stove. We'll let them slow cook for a couple of hours, and then it will be time to fix the Monterey chicken. So I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna do that. I'm just using frozen green beans from Walmart. I'm gonna dump these into this pot. And then instead of using water, we're gonna use chicken broth for it to simmer in. That just gives it extra flavor. Pretty much just to where it's covered. I'm gonna go ahead and sprinkle in some of this Nature's Seasons. And lastly, we're gonna add a couple of slices, and I say a couple because I think these are pretty thin. Yeah, a couple of slices of pork fat back. This really seasons up your green beans, and it tastes like they've been cooking all day long when you've only been cooking them for a couple of hours. I'm gonna turn these on to about medium high until it comes up to a boil, and then I'll reduce it down to low and let it simmer, and I am gonna put a lid on it. Now we're gonna get started on Monterey chicken. The first thing we need to do is cook some bacon. Now that we've got the bacon cooking, we're going to turn this deep, large skillet to medium-high heat. And we're gonna preheat the oven to 400 degrees. The recipe says to season the chicken on both sides with salt and pepper, but we're gonna add one little extra thing. We just recently picked up some smoked paprika, and we've really been loving the taste, so we're gonna add that to our chicken as well. have a skillet that is oven safe, you can definitely just assemble all of this and put it straight into the oven. But I'm gonna put it in this dish, so I'm gonna spray it first with some olive oil. Now we're gonna pour over the 1 cup of barbecue sauce. And we're gonna sprinkle the cheese over top of that. I'm using half and half. I'm using half this queso quesadilla cheese from Walmart and half of this hot jalapeno and habanero jack cheese. We like things a little spicy, but you can use any cheese that you want. You just need about a cup of it in total.
All right, let's get into this here. That's really good. The chicken is like super tender, really juicy. I really get that smoked paprika. I mean, it's really sets this off. The savory taste of the barbecue coupled with the smoked paprika is amazing. And then the bacon, I mean, this is like a party on a plate. That's really good.
See, what y'all don't know is that me and Cole are sitting here patiently waiting, wanting to eat, and we're sitting here watching him enjoying it, and it's absolutely torture. Good green beans.
Fabulous.
All right, I love you, but I'm not recording you anymore. I want to eat. Hey y'all, it is Wednesday and we are about to get supper ready. We are gonna have spaghetti and meatballs tonight. It's homemade meatballs and I'm really excited about that. And then we're also gonna have some garlic toast made with some Texas toast. We're gonna get started on the meatballs. The first thing we need to do is heat this large skillet to about medium-high heat because we are going to sweat the onions, kind of cook them along with some garlic. And we've got to make sure this pan is good and hot. After we brown the meatballs, they are going to go in the oven for just a little bit, so I need to go ahead and preheat the oven to 350. That's nice and hot. We're going to go ahead and put some extra virgin olive oil in here. So I'm just kind of sauteing these onions, but I don't want them to get any color on them. I just want them to get really super soft. So I'm going to keep stirring them so that they don't start to burn. This process should take like 5 minutes or so. It's been several minutes, so we're going to go ahead and add the garlic in and let it cook for just another couple of minutes. That smells really good. These are done. We're going to transfer them to a bowl so they will start to cool off because these are going to go inside of the meatballs. We want them to cool down just a little bit before we add them. We're going to start assembling the meatballs. For this, you're going to need 3 different types of meat. We are using a 1/2 pound each of ground pork, ground beef, and ground veal. So that's what's in this bowl. To this, we're going to add about 1/4 cup of finely chopped parsley, about 1/2 cup of Parmesan cheese, about 1/2 to 3/4 cup of breadcrumbs. This is Italian style breadcrumbs. We're going to use about 1/4 cup of water, just a pinch of red pepper flakes. You could definitely leave this out if you don't want the heat. 2 eggs. Lastly, we're going to add in the sauteed onions and garlic. Now I mix it with my hands, don't I?
Now you got to get in there with both hands and start mixing it. You could make your hubby do it.
Leave my hubby do it?
Yes.
Now that my hubby so graciously mixed it up for us, I'm going to start rolling these into little meatballs. We're gonna do them in about a golf ball size, just a little bit bigger than a golf ball size really. So I'm gonna start rolling these up. And that's what you want it to look like. Now that they are browned all over, it's time to go into the oven for about 15 minutes or until they're cooked through.
Oh man, this looks delicious. Oh wow. They're so moist. That is absolutely amazing. I love the tenderness and juiciness of it. It's not dry. That's so good.
Thank y'all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this week. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you did. And if you haven't already, I would love for you to hit that subscribe button and join my YouTube family. And don't forget, if you have a recipe that you think we would like to try, make sure you either message me on Instagram or send me an email so that we can take a look at your recipe and I'll let you know if you're the one we pick. Thanks y'all, and I'll see you next time. Bye.